Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth here. So today I just want to share some thoughts on why I think everybody needs to hire a therapist at least some point in their life. Life on planet Earth is not easy. It's never been easy, and now that we're entering this technological digital age, we have a whole other set of problems, whether it's things like online bullying or a lot of our self-worth is coming through social media components such as how many likes and clicks that we get. They're like popularity contests, or just, people don't like our stuff, so we're kind of attaching our self-worth to it. So we definitely have a different set of problems today in modern society that we have to navigate through, which is a lot different as compared to our ancestors who actually had to go out and hunt for the animals for survival and, keep villages alive against other tribesmen that wanted to take over their land and their crops and things like that. Today, people are messed up, and, the more narcissistic and the more selfish that society is getting, this is trickling down into our everyday lives as well. And so we're so wrapped up in this concept of you do you, and so I'm going to be me and you're going to be you, and that's completely fine, but at some point we are just so worried about ourselves and so wrapped up in our own lives that we have absolutely no clue how much we are emotionally damaging other people. And today, trying to navigate through things like the modern dating world, it almost seems virtually impossible for men and women to somehow get along, or at least to communicate certain things. I really don't know where we're headed, but all I know is that with divorce rates being so high, people are breaking up at rapid speeds lately from, what I've been seeing with a lot of my friends and connections and clients, that we're having so much baggage that we don't know how to process stuff. So, for example, if you're trying to date somebody, some people are self-sabotaging their relationships because of toxic things that happened in their childhood or toxic things that have happened in the past. Or they finally meet somebody they like and they sabotage it because they're afraid of getting to feel loved or actually be treated good by another human being, and so they push that other person away. So there's just so much going on in people's heads that they don't really know how to process it. And now I think hiring a therapist or a psychologist today doesn't have as much of a stigma as it did even as little as 10 years ago or back in the 90s or prior to that. But I just really think that everybody should hire a therapist, even if there's unresolved issues from 30 years ago. Sometimes this shit pops up in your life later, and a lot of people get hurt by others, and then they just want to isolate themselves. And when you isolate yourselves, you become lonely. And how do you cope with loneliness? Either through some form of addiction, bad eating habits, overeating, you end up becoming obese. So I just think that a lot of times people think once I get this or once I do that, then I'll be happy. And happiness is not eternal. It's an emotion. And the thing is, one day you might be happy, or 1 minute you might be happy, and the next minute you might be sad. And so it's an attitude of a heart where we need to focus more on experiencing the joys of life, which is good. But I really just, today with what I'm seeing, I'm not even like mildly dating out there, and like people are just messed up, and there's so much socially engineered problems that are happening today. And people are just being led down a very dark path, and I think that our society today is very disposable. I mean, look at something like IKEA furniture. It's cool, it's chic, but it's disposable. It's kind of cheap, so like you buy a $50 coffee table and you want to move, and you know what? It's like you could just chuck the $50 coffee table and then buy a new one for $50 when you move. And I feel like this is where we're going with people today, especially because of things like the online dating world, that it's like you're just one swipe away from the next date or the next hookup, and it's like we're really disposable and we're not really thinking or being considerate of other people's other people's feelings. So things aren't really reciprocal, and they're becoming very one-sided. But the problem is when things become so one-sided and so selfish and narcissistic, that we're going to start damaging not only other people but ourselves, and this is going to have a ripple effect. So like women who are constantly getting hurt by men they're going to start treating men like shit, or they're going to start getting a little, they're going to have less patience with men. And you know what? They're going to hit that man. And then that man's not going to trust the next woman that they date. It's like, nobody has a fucking moral compass these days. And everyone is just running around amok with... So when this happens, when we constantly get hurt, we're either going to continue to hurt other people just because we're bitter or pissed off or angry, or all of this hurt and emotional damage is going to be bottled up inside. And it's almost like packing an ice cream cone. You know, it's like you're just going to keep packing the stuff down into the bottom of the cone and then top more and put more on top and more on top. And so at some point, you're going to find a breaking point. You're either going to go really down a dark path where you kind of lose control or you become a little reckless in life, or you're going to have to find a way to resolve some of these problems and kind of ascend yourself, not only personally, emotionally, but spiritually. And then the more you ascend, the more you can realize that, hey, this toxic stuff no longer fits into my life. And I don't know. I think there are so many problems today, and I think technology has done a lot of great things for us, but I think it's doing a lot more damage than it is doing good, especially for our emotional well-being and our self-worth. I mean, there is research out there that's showing that the millennial generation is going to be the most depressed generation, and our lives are pretty great. We're not suffering through World War II and the Greatest Depression or the Stalin grain drain like our ancestors did. Like, those were literal, horrible problems. And today we're just facing a lot of these mental and emotional problems because the interwebs have opened us up to a can of worms of being connected to everyone's opinion and everyone's life, where you just kind of see a snapshot of the good pieces of themselves. So anyways, I don't know what you guys think, but I would love to hear some of your thoughts below. I really encourage you to go hire a coach or a therapist. Even if you think life is fine, it's cool to check in to somebody and just kind of let it out. You know, some people have so much stuff built up in them that they have to express things to where it's going to come out like a volcano or verbal vomit. But hey, you know, it's like at least you're getting it out. You're getting it out in the open. You're expressing yourself. So don't be afraid to hire a therapist. You're not a loser. You haven't messed up. You've done great things in your life. You just need to learn how to cope with these problems, especially when it comes to sabotaging yourself or sabotaging other people, treating other people poorly, and stuff like that. All right, well, those are some quick thoughts for today. If you'd like, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to build it up, and there are some additional blog links below that kind of touch base a little bit on some of the topics that I spoke about today, and hope to see you guys soon. Bye.